Nano machine. Bai, ang Hongguolya. Chapter 211. Increase your forces. Part 1. It was now 3 days after the incident at the party. Demon Justice Alliance was officially made and was declared to all cultists of the castle. Its reason was to fight against Blade God's 6 martial clan, but cultists who had fought against forces of justice for a long time were not very happy at the alliance. The people from Forces of Justice who were originally planned to stay for at least 5 more days, sensed this uneasiness and quickly left the castle on the second day morning. But the real reason behind it was different. We might have a spy among our clan. It was because of Jigal Sohi's claim. 2 leaders didn't believe it easily at first. It was hard to agree that there were spies among the 17 leaders who led the Yulin clan itself. But she began explaining from the day of her kidnapping and all parts that were suspicious, and leaders and members of the Yulin clan realized something was suspicious and decided to return. This is an invitation from our leader. Jigal Sohi gave the demonic cult an official invitation from the leader of Yulin clan to the Yulin competition that will be held on the new year and left. After they have left, demonic cult was now coming into a new era. At midnight, guest house of the Ghost Illusion clan's mansion. There were Een Moha, Huani, Ko Wanger, Munku, Hubong, Samachuk and Baki gathered to have a meeting. The atmosphere that was happy from Chun Yowan becoming crown prince, was now had turned more serious. Hubong was talking about something uncomfortably. I mean, it's weird isn't it? The Lord's palace notified everything else and only left out my master becoming crown prince. Everyone didn't say anything but their faces showed how uncomfortable they were. From it too. There had been an official announcement that was made in the afternoon about what happened at the party. The Lord Chun Yuzhong announced various things in front of all cultists who gathered at the courtyard outside the palace, but he didn't say anything about Chun Yowan becoming the crown prince. It was known to all clan leaders already, so the rumor was spreading fast, but it wasn't normal for such announcement to be skipped either. Is it only me? Huh? Am I the only one who's uncomfortable with this? Ko Wanger then spoke. Hubong has a point. Master, something is weird here. Everyone was be careful of what they were saying, as they were talking about the announcement made by the Lord of the demonic cult himself, but people began to show their frustration followed by Hubong. I'm sure the announcement made by the Lord's palace is the announcement that should talk about important issues that were made from the Great Hall meeting. If the Crown Prince coronation is left out in that. Samachuk couldn't continue on to his next word. Someone else brought up the word instead. Are you worried that the Lord might have changed his mind? Elder Huan Yispoke. Ko Wanger and Hubong guessed that might be the case but didn't spoke so Chun Yowan might not become concerned but Huani didn't stop. Huani was always direct in the way he spoke. Us elders share the same thought with you all. Are you not? Huani asked and Een Moha, who was without her mask to look old, nodded simply. All 3 elders who sided with Yowan were also confused by the announcement. Competition, and approvals. We had done all that required. Is it something that can be overturned just because the Lord doesn't like it? Baki became curious and asked. Huan Yasvidit. I'm not sure. I have never heard of such a case before, but if that is the Lord's decision and without 6 clans to go against the decision, I don't see why not. Members became grim at Huan Yi's guess. In the past, all princes were from one of 6 clans so there was no way for the decision to be overthrown even if the Lord didn't like the outcome. But Chun Yowan wasn't from any of 6 clans. Then if there aren't any objections, then the Lord can always take back what he decided. Chun Yowan spoke out for the first time. Everyone turned to him, but he didn't seem to show any emotion. He was just hearing it as if he wasn't involved in all this. Huan Yi looked at Yowan and spoke with serious look. I was going to say this later, but I guess I should just tell you now. What is it? After you killed Mu Jinwan, I tried to come in contact with the remaining forces of the Wise clan to have them come into our forces. Chun Yowan knew this. Huani thought getting rid of the remaining forces of the Wise clan might weaken the demonic cult itself so he advised them to join. Yowan also agreed with Huan Yi's plan and had him take care of it. But starting yesterday night, the Wise clan's mansion is completely empty. Empty? Yowan became surprised at the word. If there had been any problem, then it should have spread quickly through the castle of what happened. Yowan asked. Did 4 clans moved on themselves? As much as Yowan's group wanted them, 4 clans wanted remaining warriors from Wise clan too. Half is true, and half is not. Then, the Lord's palace made a move. Chapter 212. Increase your forces. Part 2. Lord's palace. There were 2 forces within the inner castle. One force was warriors from Guardians, and one was warriors under the Lord's palace itself. Warriors from Guardians were led by 3 Guardians, and warriors at the Lord's palace were the Lord's direct forces. Half were observed into the Sword Clan, and half are appointed at the Blade Clan. Chen Yuan and others frowned. If what Huani said was true, then the Lord himself had given power to the Sword and Blade clans. If the Lord's palace made a move, it was reasonable to have these remaining forces to be appointed at Chen Yuan, who had killed the leader of the Wise clan, but this was unexpected to say the least. This is an apparent sign of oppression against us. Samachuk spoke with a raised voice. All members who only thought 6 clans as their enemy were shocked and confused by the Lord's decision. How can the Lord do this? Manu bit her lips and looked at Yuan. She was shocked and angry at the same time, so it was hard to imagine how angry Yuan might be. But Yuan was thinking differently. No. This isn't just oppression. It's balancing. What? The Lord that Chen Yuan knew was one who always acted for his own benefit. If he wanted to oppress Yuan, then Yuan would not have been appointed as the crown prince from the beginning. But he did, and the tide began to turn toward Chen Yuan. He is strengthening 2 clans to oppose me, to make balance. The reason why he didn't announce me as a crown prince is, it was a way to show that 4 clans still had the chance. By saying that Yuan might lose his place as a crown prince, the Lord gave hope to the 4 clans and raised their morale to fight against Chen Yuan. He is making 4 clans fight against me. The morale only occurred when the enemy seemed to have a chance to be defeated. The Lord then showed that he didn't accept Chen Yuan as a crown prince. Yuan was still only a piece in his chess game. You have a good understanding of the Lord. Huani and Moha knew this very well. Chen Yuzhong was a cold-hearted person. He had no interest in family or relationships, and he considered everything as a piece in his chess to grip on the power of his throne. The Lord is not our ally. What should we do now? The atmosphere became grimmer as they realized the Lord's intention. After a long silence, Chen Yuan got up and looked at each member with their eyes and spoke. I want to ask each and every one of you here. If there is something that happens, will you still trust me and follow me to the end? Everyone became shocked at what Yuan had said as they quickly realized what he was talking about. Yuan was asking them that if he was to move against the Lord, will they trust and follow him? People gathered here pledged allegiance to Yuan, but this didn't mean that they will turn their back to the Lord, who was the demonic cult itself. Lot of things in our cult is wrong. I want to bring our cult back to the original times when our founding father Chunma had created our cult. Even if that requires me to fight against the current cult. Yuan took a deep breath after that and spoke. Trust me and follow me to the end. Yuan bowed. Everyone had lost their words at Yuan's determined look. Master had decided. He will not hesitate on fighting against the Lord. After some silence, someone shot up from his seat and bowed at Yuan. It was Hubong. What are you talking about? I, Hubong, will always follow you no matter what path you take, Master. Hubong had decided to follow Chen Yuan no matter what. This became a signal to others. Ko Wonger then got up and bowed. I'm the same as Hubong. A man does not change his oath. Even if the path lies ahead is filled with thorns that will make me bleed, I will follow you to the end. And with that, others began to get up from their seat. 2 elders also got up. They all bowed at Yuan and swore an oath of allegiance again. We will follow the Lord no matter what happens. Yuan clenched on his fist. It was possible that Chen Yuan might even have to fight against the mighty lord of the demonic cult himself, so he was ready for anyone to leave at the moment, but everyone had said they will follow Yuan to the end. And by the announcement made by the Lord's palace, Yuan and his members were able to build a stronger bond. And after the heat of the determination settled, Yuan took back all the plans he had made to fight against the 6 clans. With the Lord giving power to 4 clans, we have to act accordingly. Do you have a plan ready? Huani asked and Yuan spoke. He tries to keep the balance, so we will break the balance instead. Yuan then turned to Manu. Huh? At the mansion of the Demon Dragon clan, located at the northwestern corner of the demonic castle, the mansion was equally giant and grand just like that of 6 clans. Someone ran across the courtyard inside the gate and ran to the clan leader's office. The man then shouted to report. Elder. It's me, Basong. What is it? Sea Crown Prince is here to see you. What? 8th Elder Munyan became shocked and burst out of his office. Chapter 213. Increase Your Forces. Part 3. The guest house of the Demon Dragon clan's mansion became busy to greet the sudden guest. It was not just any guest, but the Crown Prince, so they couldn't just greet him as it is. As the guest house was being prepared, Manu was guiding the group into the large courtyard's garden at the mansion. Manu, an old man, had a hobby to look after the garden, so it was beautifully cared for and decorated. I don't know anything about gardening, but this is amazing. Hubong spoke astoundingly. The garden inside the Demon Dragon clan's mansion was the most beautiful within the demonic cult's castle. Hee, isn't it? Manu seemed proud of showing her home's garden to his members. Members who came to the mansion along with Chun Yoan and Manu was In Moha, Hubong and Baki. Where were others then? They were at other places for their own plans. Chun Yoan said they had to increase their forces, so Huan Yi and Sama Yi went together to meet the 6th elder, and clan leader of Elusive Dream Clan, Mong O. Would it work? I heard Elder Sama is a close friend to the 6th elder and even graduated from the same demonic academy. You can't do everything by yourself, so we'll persuade the 6th elder. Ko Wonger and Sama Chuk then gave a list of clans that didn't side with any remaining 4 clans from Huan Yi to visit them to join their forces. Ko Wonger took most of the list, and tried to take Hubong with him, but Hubong insisted on following Chun Yoan this time around. Take Baki with you, master. Will 2 of you enough? It's okay. Ha ha ha. Show off. Humph. Please take good care of our master, Baki. Ko Wonger and Baki were always arguing against each other as they considered each other as rivals, so Ko Wonger was made to go with Sama Chuk. And Manu was guiding them through the garden when Munyun himself came over to take them. He was an old man with white hair, and a noble aura to him that looked as if he was a great philosopher or something. He was also very well built and tall. 8th elder, Munyun, greets the crown prince. Munyun bowed politely and Yoan also bowed back. Greetings, 8th elder. They didn't meet each other for the first time. They saw each other at the great meeting and also saw each other on the feast. But both times there was a huge incident that happened, so Munyun had very strong impression of Yoan. She's still on a mask? Munyun then turned to Manu. Since they were out of the academy, she was suggested to take off her mask, but she was embarrassed by her members as they did not know she was a woman and did not take off her mask yet. But she couldn't do that for too long either. Manu realized Munyun's eyes and looked away. Munyun then turned back to Yoan. I will guide you into the guest house, my prince. You could have just sent your servant. Thank you for your kindness. I have a valuable guest at my home. It is a must. Please, come this way. Munyun then led the group into the guest house. As they were out from the garden and on the way to the guest house, Basong, the guard at the gate, quickly ran over to Munyun. It seemed they had another guest. Elder. What is it? Munyun asked. There is 3rd, 4th elder and Prince Chun Mukiam waiting to see you right now. What? Munyun frowned. Why did members from 4 clans come while Crown Prince Chun Yoan was here? Chun Yoan was here first, but it was a frustrating situation. Even if he wasn't a crown prince, Chun Mukiam was also a prince of the cult. It's a name that I didn't hear for a long time. Yoan did not see him ever since he entered the closed room training at the demonic cult. He heard that Chun Mukiam had failed on the 5th test. To see him visiting here at this time. It seemed that they too likely shared the same purpose that Yoan had in coming here. But he was only a guest at this house. Munyun became hesitant as he knew the relationship between Crown Prince and the other 4 clans, and Yoan smiled. Please don't mind about me. Thank you, Crown Prince. With Chun Yoan's permission, Munyun allowed other guests to be taken into another guest house and proceeded on taking Yoan to the guest house. At front of the building, there was a small garden and a pond, and a gazebo was placed. On it, there was a round table filled with desserts and tea. It is amazing. I heard you are Master Gardener, and it seems that wasn't just words. Yoan spoke, astounded at the view. Munyun laughed and answered. Haha, it is only a hobby, but thank you for your sincere compliments. I have prepared some tea and desserts. Let's talk while we enjoy it. Thank you. Yoan and his members then got up to the gazebo with Munyun. The table had full of various snacks and fruits. Oh, it's going to be okay this time. Hubong smiled. There had been incidents on every visit to elders, so Hubong was concerned until now. But they had Manu this time and it seemed to be going well. Oh, and last time I heard Elder Sama was trying to force the marriage of his daughter to my master. I hope that doesn't happen again here. Hubong heard that the leader of Demon Dragon also had a granddaughter. Manu said he had a twin sibling, so Hubong thought that would be the granddaughter. As Munyun clapped, servants came over to pour hot tea on the teacup. Then shall we? But before Munyun could finish, a small door at the gate into the guesthouse's yard became noisy. Why you shouldn't do this? There are other guests. Move out of the way. It is an emergency. Servants were trying to stop a man who was trying to walk in, but they pushed servants out and came in forcefully. Huh? Munyon frowned. It was 3rd Elder Buchuryong, 4th Elder Jakinkang and Prince Chun Mukiam. They were being guided into another building, then turned and walked in. They seemed relieved as they walked in. We're not late. They were worried if the meeting had almost been decided. But from what they can see, it seemed Chen Yoan and his members just sat down. What a coincidence. Chapter 214. Increase Your Forces. Part 4. They were actually here to persuade the Demon Dragon clan to join their forces. But they found out that Chen Yoan was here for the same purpose, so they knew it was rude to do such a thing, but they burst in before even the Demon Dragon clan fell into the hands of Chen Yoan. Please excuse us, Crown Prince. Chen Yoan coldly eyed 3rd Elder and others and nodded. I am sorry. Munyon bowed and walked over to the elders. Munyon bowed and said, Greetings, elders and Prince Chen. 3 of them then tried to bow back, but Munyon went straight into his complaints. I asked 3 of you to wait while I tend to another guest. What is up with such rudeness? 3rd Elder Buchuryong then spoke nonchalantly to his frustration. We heard the Crown Prince was here, so I thought it was a must for us to pay proper respect rather than just walk by. To the Crown Prince? Munyon became dumbfounded at the unexpected words. The Crown Prince was a number 2 in rank within the demonic cult. If these elders claimed that they were here to say greetings to the Crown Prince, then Munyon had no words to blame them for the rudeness. May we pay our respect to the Crown Prince then? You may. Munyon reluctantly allowed them, and 2 elders and Chun Mukiam came over to the gazebo. 2 elders had come to say greetings to the Crown Prince. Greetings, huh? Chen Yoan looked coldly and nodded. 2 elders then bowed to Chen Yoan. 3rd Elder, Buchuryong greets the Crown Prince. 4th Elder, Jakinkang greets the Crown Prince. Chun Mukiam was the last to bow, but he frowned as he bowed. It seemed like he was very reluctant in showing respect to Chen Yoan. Their position had turned upside down in a few years. Greetings. Crown Prince. Chen Yoan ignored Chun Mukiam and bowed to the 2 elders. Damn it. Chun Mukiam became angry, but he couldn't show his anger. It was ironic that 2 sides who opposed each other were bowing against each other, but this was another form of war. Buchuryong then spoke. I didn't know Crown Prince had business with Elder Mun. I had to talk with him. I see. We also had to hear his response. Response? Chen Yoan became surprised. If it was a response, then it meant they had already talked with Munyon already. He tried to send them back, but this made Yoan to become curious. But Munyon didn't seem to recognize what he was saying. What are you talking about? Jakinkang then spoke uncomfortably. This is frustrating. We already sent you our messenger. Did you forget it already? Huh? Munku became surprised and looked at Munyon. Munyon frowned. No, that was. Didn't you say you will give a good thought? Munyon was dumbfounded. He didn't think it was right to outright refuse to the messenger that was sent from the loyal clan, so he said he'll think about it, but he didn't imagine they would interpret it as a positive answer. Buchuryong then continued, well, that's why Prince Chun Mukiam is here to see the granddaughter of Elder Mun himself. Chun Mukiam then bowed toward Munyon. It seemed that the 2 elders had planned to force this already. Munyon was frustrated on what to say in front of Chun Mukiam, son of the Lord. He couldn't outright refuse either. What should I do with this? Chen Yoan was here to form a group with the Demon Dragon clan. But if he answered to the other elders that he will think about it in a positive way, then it would show that he would be trying to side with both forces. 8th Elder, you better choose your side well. Buchuryong similed. This wasn't a simple proposal. Chen Yoan only wanted Munyon as his member, but the elders were proposing to form a family tie. Chen Yoan then spoke. Elder Mun. Yes, Crown Prince. Isn't the opinion of the person getting married also important? Munyon then brightened up after realizing the intention of Yoan's question and agreed. Of course. I respect her decision. They were trying to get away from the situation by giving decision to someone else. But the elders did not give up easily. Yakinkang spoke. Good. Then why don't we call Elder Mun's granddaughter here to meet our Prince Chun? Then we will see the decision. Jakinkang thought the situation was going to turn the tides toward them with this. It was likely that no woman would outright refuse to marry the son of the Lord. You are digging your own trap, 8th Elder. Crown Prince. And to those elders, someone walked up. It was Munku, who had been sitting next to Chen Yoan. Mun-ku? Why is he coming out? When Munku got up, Chun Mukiam became surprised. He had contacted Manu to bring him into his fold multiple times back at the demonic academy, so Mukium knew Manu very well. Manu, why are you? Huh? That's when Manu grabbed the bottom of her chin and pulled. Everyone became shocked at the skin that was pulled off. Skin? Is that the skin mask? Yoan's members who did not know Manu's true identity, including 2 elders in Chun Mukium, all gasped in shock. What? How can this be? Smooth white face with shiny eyes. Small pinkish lips with crescent eyes. Her beautiful face was revealed. Manu, now fully ripe in her age, had grown into a beautiful woman. Manu bowed toward 2 elders in Chun Mukium. Greetings, elders and prince. I am the granddaughter of Elder Manu. Chapter 215. Increase your forces. Part 5. It was just a simple action of taking off the mask, but the effect was enough to shock everyone at the guest house. Even Baki, who was almost emotionless, became shocked and was dumbfounded. Hu Bong's mouth was open large in his shock. Am I dreaming? Of course, he wasn't. Hu Bong then thought of many events in the past where he stripped naked and walked proudly in front of Manu and all other events. Hu Bong became pale. No. Hu Bong covered his face and looked away. Chun Mukium was also shocked by the unexpected identity of Manu. So, he was actually she? He didn't imagine a stupid face hiding such beautiful woman underneath the mask. Manu's beauty even made him become astonished. But the problem of this event was elsewhere. God damn it. Chun Mukium had tried hard to have other members from the high-ranking clans join him just like other princes. Chun Mukium did not act aggressively like Chun Yuchan from the Blade clan, but he was arrogant in his nature, so he even threatened Manu to join him once. Well, if you are so persistent on not joining me, I promise you that if I become crown prince, I will remove the name of Demon Dragon Clan from the face of the cult. If you don't care about that, then keep on with your neutral stance. Chun Mukium said that and just proposed to the person whom he threatened in such a way. He couldn't even look at Manu from embarrassment. Skin mask. Buchuryong was surprised by her identity and her beauty. Manu's beauty was enough to be appointed as the new top 3 beautiful women in all of Yulin. If this wasn't a place to have Chun Mukium marry, it tempted him to take her as his concubine. It's tempting, but he wasn't a fool to follow his temptation. He was an elder, and he knew what to prioritize. Having a skin mask doesn't change the fact that she's a granddaughter of Elder Mun. Buchuryong did not know what Chun Mukium did in the past at the academy, so he continued. I didn't think such beautiful woman would hide her face under a mask. I guess I would have my granddaughter do the same if she was as beautiful as you. Ha ha ha. Buchuryong laughed to ease the atmosphere. Juk also complimented Manu's beauty and spoke. Our Prince Chun is a lucky man to marry such beautiful woman. You uncle. Chun Mukium became embarrassed. Juk did not know Mukium's thoughts, so he asked Manu with a smile, well, since you have heard about what was going on, it is better you tell us your decision. Will you accept Prince Chun's proposal? Manu then smiled and turned to Chun Mukium. Well, looking at Prince Chun Mukium reminds me of what he told me back in the academy. Oh, so, you two knew each other? That's good then. Juk brightened up, thinking something was going to work well, but his excitement was shattered by Manu's next words. Prince Chun Mukium once told me that he will erase the name of the Demon Dragon Clan from the face of the cult if he becomes the crown prince. Well, fortunately he isn't the crown prince, so our clan is safe. Phew. Wadash? Juk face turned grim. Chun Mukium became grim and looked down. He didn't imagine the thoughtless words that he blurted out would come around to take him down. Munyun's face scowled instantly. Erase my clan, you said? And no, I meant. Even if Chun Mukium was from the Loyal Clan, one of the 6 clans, this was too much of a threat. Even if it was the Loyal Clan, it required heavy casualties if they were to fight the Demon Dragon Clan. What have you done? Juk spoke to Chun Mukium through telepathic message. There was nothing to say to that. Juk then decided he had to take care of what had already happened and tried to explain to Munyun. Elder Mun. I think our prince made a mistake in the past, he was young, so, mistake? Do you think that is enough explanation for such a threat? It seemed like the 8th elder wasn't going to let this go easily. He wasn't a type to lose his temper, but he became furious after hearing that his beloved granddaughter was threatened with the Demon Dragon Clan as a hostage. Elder Mun, will you really try to fight us? If you want to erase our name, I guess I am left with no choice. Ha! Juk who tried to explain, also frowned. He had become angry at the 8th elder, who was a lower rank than him, being this rude. With two powerful warriors at the superior master level unleashing their energy, the gazebo started shaking with power. Then third elder Buchuryong sighed and jumped in. Ugh, enough. Two of you. Put aside your anger. Do you think you would put your anger aside if you heard the same? Manyun roared angrily and Buchuryong responded, I understand how you feel, eighth elder. But what if the threat that Prince Chun made was only when he was only a cadet? And do you think there is a clan who can fight against the Demon Dragon clan so easily? Chapter 216. Increase your forces. Part 6. Buchuryong spoke highly of the Demon Dragon clan intentionally and Manyun became somewhat less angered. Chun Mukiam might have become angry at the comment, but talking lowly of him was the only way to make Manyun feel better. I want to keep this for later but... Buchuryong then took out something from his pocket. It was a deep orange tag that had a certain symbol on it. I heard that 8th Elder has been looking for a good doctor for the past few years. He tried hard to make everything going on in his clan as a secret, but he couldn't hide the fact that he was looking for a doctor. Munku's twin brother Manu was born as a mentally ill child. Manyun searched for every doctor possible to tend to Manu and even asked around to see if he could locate the rumored godly doctor. This tag will let you meet the godly doctor himself. What? Manyun's eyes shook. The tag that would lead him to the godly doctor that he was searching for a long time tempted him. Fortunately, I found this from the Wise clan's mansion. This tag actually belonged to Lady Mu. But when she and Mu Jinwan died, the Lord allowed the Sword and Blade clan to take what remained within the Wise clan and that's when Buchuryong found this. You will be tempted by this, Elder Mun. This tag was surely a treasure, but if this can bring the 8th Elder and the Demon Dragon clan into their fold, it would serve its purpose. If Prince Chun Mukiam marries your granddaughter, I will give this to you as a gift. That tag as a gift? I never lie. And why would 3rd Elder give such a precious gift? Manyun was confused. He knew that the 4 clans would want to have the Demon Dragon clan join them, but Chun Mukiam was from the Loyal clan. It was strange that the Blade clan was willing to give such a precious treasure for it. There's something more important. Buchuryong then pointed at Chun Mukiam and smiled. I didn't tell you before, but Prince Chun Mukiam is appointed as the formal successor to all of our 4 elders. Formal successor? Chun Yowan raised his eyebrow. He knew what Buchuryong was talking about. So, 4 clans are forming an alliance. Chun Yowan's guess was accurate. The 4 clans had not thought about siding with one another until recently. But after Yowan became crown prince and killed Mu Jinwan and powerful warriors from the Blade God's 6 martial clan, they felt it wasn't going to be easy to fight against Chun Yowan. We cannot let this go on. That's when the Lord gave them hope. Hope that maybe there was a chance for the crown prince to be changed. If they were saying Chun Mukiam was their formal successor, then it meant that they were trying to make him the crown prince. So, they won't go down easily then. Yowan looked at them coldly. He knew that it wasn't going to be easy but if these 4 clans were to form an alliance, this meant that the fight was going to become much harder. Elder Mun might choose them. Yowan looked Manyun worriedly. Yowan's concern was right. 4 clans are siding with Prince Chun Mukiam then? Manyun became confused. They just showed their plan to him. They are asking me to choose sides. Manyun was frustrated. One side was the crown prince that his granddaughter had pledged allegiance to, and another side was one who had way to heal his grandson Manu, and had strong forces probably enough to change the crown prince. The tide began to change. Cool, I'm sorry Kropka. Manyun then looked over to Munku with an apologetic look. He couldn't throw away the temptation that maybe he had a chance to heal Manu. And to Buchuryong's ears, Kinkang sent telepathic message. 3rd Elder. What a great plan. Ha ha ha, this is what you call politics. If you know what the target wants, then you give him what he wants to get what you want in return. I see. I learned something new from you, Elder Bu. Chun Yowan wanted an allegiance without any payment now, but they had brought what Manyun might want the most. This fight was already over when it started considering with that. Crown Prince, we have won this round. Ha 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 ha. And to the hesitant Manyun, Buchuryong spoke to finish tying the knot. Elder Mun, will you accept our proposal to have Prince Chun Mukiam marry your granddaughter? Manyun became silent for a while and tried to speak. That's when Munku, who had been watching them speak silently, ran over to Chun Yowan and grabbed Yowan's arm and shouted with blushed look. Huh? I am already the crown prince's woman. Everyone down in the yard frowned. Chun Yowan also became shocked. She wasn't lying as she was a servant of Chun Yowan's, but that way of speaking was enough to bring confusion. and Munyun, who was almost set on deciding to allow Chun Mukiam to marry Munku, became dumbfounded and looked at his granddaughter and Chun Yowan. See Crown Prince? Chapter 217. Increase Your Forces. Part 7. The shocking claim silenced the gazebo and around for a long time. Hu Bong and Baki also became so shocked and looked at Yowan. They didn't say anything, but their expression explained it all. A master? Since when did you even? You are fast. Chun Yowan was also very shocked. This way of speaking would surely make everyone confused. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of any other way. Yowan then looked at Munku. She looked up to Yowan with teary eyes. She looked like a fawn in fear, shaking, so Yowan blushed and looked away. She did it on purpose. Munku did this to make her grandfather not take up the proposal. She had no choice, as she couldn't let her grandfather make her marry Chun Mukiam. But this also brought another effect that no one expected. Chun Mukiam's face reddened as he gritted his teeth. He couldn't say anything as he had made a mistake in the past, but he fell in love at first sight when he saw Munku. He was actually looking forward to marrying such a beautiful woman like Munku, and became furious by the action. Chun Yowan found Mukiam in such state and became surprised. He then patted Munku's head. Munku was concerned that Yowan might be angry at her action, but became relieved and blushed further as Yowan patted her. That bastard is taking what belongs to me again. With that, Mukiam became furious from jealousy. He thought that the death of his mother Lady Jia was due to Chun Yowan, so his hatred toward Chun Yowan was already great. But the elders had warned him, and he knew that he was no match against Chun Yowan, so he didn't think about fighting Yowan. But the sight made him imagine that Yowan had maybe slept with Munku, already made him lose control over his temper. That's when Yowan smiled. You dare to laugh? It was then. A sharp sword flashed up to Mukiam's neck and threatened him. Ugh! Chun Mukiam became shocked and saw the one who was pointing the sword at his neck. It was the 10th elder, In Moha. She had been standing behind Yowan like a guard, but she quickly withdrew her sword and charged down at Chun Mukiam when she sensed Mukiam's intent to attack. How dare a mere guard point a sword at the prince? Jakinking roared at In Moha. None of them recognized her, who had become younger by going through the body reconstruction. A mere guard? In Moha was acting as a mere guard, so she spoke casually. He had the intent to attack the crown prince. Everyone had realized Chun Mukiam's intention and his hostile energy rising up. Such action was an act of treason, as Chun Yowan was formal successor to the throne. No. I told him to hold back. Yakinking frowned. He knew very well that Chun Mukiam hated Chun Yowan for death of Jakinking's sister Lady Jia. That's why when they heard Chun Yowan was at the Demon Dragon clan's mansion, he told Mukiam to hold back his anger and stay calm. Chun Yowan was a crown prince, so two elders tried hard to give no such reason to be struck down, and Mukiam made a mistake. We have to stop it. The only possible candidate who was normal was Chun Mukiam. That's why he was appointed as the formal successor to the four clans. From what Yowan had done to other princes, there was no way Yowan would let this go lightly. Crown. But not all things went as they planned. Put down your sword now. Stay still. You have threatened the crown prince. How dare you order me around? Chun Mukiam, who was already mad, tried to strike down In Moha's sword. Chun Mukiam, who was at the super master level, knew he couldn't fight against elders or Chun Yowan, but he didn't fear any others. Mukiam then brought up 80% of his energy to strike the sword. Huh? But the sword didn't even budge, as if it was a 1,000-ton boulder. What are you? Erg. You. Mukiam then shouted frantically as the sword poked into his neck. It seemed like she was going to kill him without hesitation. No. The crown prince will not let this one go. Buchuryong thought he had to stop Chun Mukiam from being killed. Chun Yowan killed Mu Jinwan just because he had threatened him even when the Lord was present. Buchuryong knelt down on his knee and bowed. Crown Prince. I understand you are angry, but he is still your brother with a different mother. Please forgive his mistake. Jia Qinkang, who was also quick on his thinking, knelt down and shouted. Please forgive him. They had to allow Chun Mukiam to stay alive. Two high-ranked elders knelt to ask for forgiveness. They had thrown away all of their pride. But Yowan ordered coldly, kill him. Yes, my prince. In Moha then tried to push in her sword. No. Buchuryong then charged out like lightning and smacked In Moha's sword with his blade. Arg. My neck. It made the tip of In Moha's sword slightly rip Mukiam's neck, and Mukiam quickly jumped back. In Moha tried to attack Mukiam, but Buchuryong got in the way. Stop. Ha! Two superior master-level warriors then collided against each other. Buchuryong, who figured In Moha wasn't just a mere guard, became shocked. How can a mere guard can be this strong? His hand that grabbed the blade shook every time it collided with the sword. He thought he would be stronger, but he was wrong. After 3 formations, 2 of them backed away from each other. No, it was actually the third elder who returned with sweat running from his forehead. What is this woman? How is she a mere guard with such power? After exchanging 3 formations, Buchuryong was certain that she wasn't just a guard. This woman was either at the superior master level or even higher. That's when something happened. "See, Crown Prince. Stop!" Ja King shouted and Buchuryong turned. What? Chun Yowan was next to Chun Mukiam, with his white dragon blade aiming at Chun Mukiam's neck. Mukiam was pale in his frozen state from fear. Ugh. If Chun Yowan moved slightly, he was going to kill him. Is he really going to kill me? It wasn't like when it was from the demonic academy. I guess you have no respect for my orders. Chun Yowan spoke coldly. 2 elders couldn't object to the crown prince as they were angry from being threatened. What should we do? The elders then regretted their choices. They now thought that maybe they should have given up on the demon dragon clan when they heard Yowan was here already. Chun Yowan raised his blade to cut down Mukiam's neck and Buchuryong shouted, "See, Crown Prince. Please stop." Yowan's blade stopped in midair. Mukiam's face became pale from fear and trembled helplessly. Buchuryong spoke. "We give up on the marriage. If you want something more, we will give it to you." He was now only intent on saving Mukiam. If Mukiam, the only one who was unharmed, was to die, then there were no more candidates to push to become crown prince. Yowan smiled and said, "Give me the tag that will allow me to meet the godly doctor." Damn it. I knew it. Buchuryong frowned it. But he had no choice. He had to let Chun Mukiam stay alive at all costs. "Here it is. Please, have mercy on us." Buchuryong bowed as he handed over the tag to Yowan. Yowan took the tag and spoke. "Well, was it? Politics require finding out what the target wants, and you will get what you want if you give it to the target?" Buchuryong's eyes shook as if his eyes were having an earthquake. Those were the words that he spoke to the 4th elder through telepathic message. And when he looked up and saw Chun Yowan, Yowan mumbled. "But this tag isn't enough, what?" And there was no time to stop. Yowan's white dragon blade flashed and shot past Chun Mukiam's right shoulder. Chun Mukiam's right arm dropped to the ground. Aesio Award. Chapter 218. Increase Your Forces. Part 8. Aarg. And my arm. My arm. Chun Mukiam, who was relieved that he might be spared, screamed in pain from the area where his right arm had been cut off. No. Buchuryong grimaced with shock. He thought Yowan would let Mukiam go as Yowan had gotten all he wanted, but it was false hope. Chun Yowan wasn't that foolish. He did it on purpose. Because he knows that we are trying to make Chun Mukiam the new crown prince. He couldn't believe that Chun Yowan had made such a decision in such a short moment. With this, Chun Mukiam now had lost all value for their purpose. Buchuryong trulifare Chun Yowan. We have no choice. They had no way to raise any objections. Yowan could have killed Chun Mukiam on the spot, so letting Mukiam live, even after cutting an arm, was still an act of mercy. Yowan spoke to them coldly. "Do you have a problem?" They knew what Yowan's question meant. Ja King quickly pressed on Chun Mukiam's blood points to stop him from bleeding and held back his anger. "No, my prince. Thank you for your mercy." Unlike Buchuryong, Ja King just saw his nephew getting his arm cut. But he held back his anger. Of course, if he didn't hold it back, then they had to fight against Chun Yowan for their lives. The elders weren't fools. "We have to tend to Prince Chun, so we'll be on our way now." Of course, they had different thoughts in their mind. "We aren't finished yet, Crown Prince." 2 elders bowed to Chun Yowan and Manu and took Chun Mukiam out of the mansion. After they left, Yowan apologized to Manu on shedding blood at the home of the Demon Dragon clan and gave the orange tag as a gift. "I hope this serves you for your purpose." Oh. Manu became so thankful for the tag. He so badly wanted to heal his grandson. Manu got down on his knee and bowed. "Thank you, Crown Prince, for such a precious gift." "No, please. We haven't even met the godly doctor yet. You don't need to thank me. You are a lifesaver to our Demon Dragon clan. How can I not be thankful? Please, stand." Yowan smiled and offered Manu to get up. Yowan became soft and hospitable, very different from cold-hearted state he showed while cutting down Mukiam's arm. "He is such a great man." Manu was touched by Yowan's action. Manu already knew why Yowan had visited the Demon Dragon clan. "You are better in choosing a person than me." Manu then looked at Munku with warm eyes. He was ashamed that he was once tempted for a chance to heal his grandson. He wanted to applaud Manu, who had found a great husband. And with his only concern being solved, Manu thought it was right to give equal value back for payment. Manu then bowed again and shouted, "I, 8th Elder Manu, swear an oath that I and the Demon Dragon clan will serve Crown Prince until the end." Gramps. Manu brightened up. She was glad that her grandfather had decided to side with Chun Yowan. Yowan also bowed. "I wanted to ask you for the same." "Thank you." Yowan accepted Munyun's offer wholeheartedly. And with this, Chun Yowan had acquired a total of 4 elders for the allegiance. After everything was settled, everyone sat down on the gazebo to enjoy snacks and tea. The tea had become lukewarm, but it still tasted good. Munyun then asked Chun Yowan, "So, when will you marry my granddaughter?" PFFFFFFT. Chun Yowan sprayed the tea that he had been drinking. It was Hubong who had been drenched in the tea this time. "Gee Gramps." Manu blushed and became frantic. They had forgotten what they said, but Munyun did not forget what his granddaughter had said. Munyun thought these two were just being embarrassed and spoke satisfyingly. "Haha, well, it is fast, but since you two have spent the night together already, isn't it better to choose a date?" "Oh, are you getting married, master? Congratulations." Hubong congratulated Yowan as he wiped the tea off of his face. Baki also awkwardly congratulated Yowan. Chun Yowan and Manu looked at each other and sighed. How should we explain this? It took them quite a long time to explain that everything was just a facade. Munyun seemed disappointed after he found out the truth, but he wasn't too disappointed. Looking at the Crown Prince or Ku's reaction, they are interested in each other. Haha. His old age proved that he didn't need to rush things. Munyun then decided to change the topic and let his servants to have Manu to come over. "What about your grandson?" "Well, I have been helped, so I can't hide the secret any longer." Munyun then explained the reason for needing the godly doctor. It was the story of Manu's twin brother suffering suffocation in birth and being mentally ill. Chun Yowan knew this as he was told by Manu long time ago, but he pretended he didn't know and listened. "I tried all things to heal my grandson, but nothing worked. Then, we now have hope. I thank you again for this, Crown Prince." And when Munyun was finished, Manu came over with the other servants. Hubong and Baki became surprised. Ah! Manu looked just like Manu with the skin mask. The only difference was that Manu was more grown and had his mouth opened halfway while his 2 eyes were looking at different places. He, Grandpa, he. Manu drooled with his half-open mouth. But he seemed to understand who Manu was. Have you been well? Chapter 219. Increase your forces. Part 9. Isa, cease. Manu walked over to Manu and brought his head over to Manu. Ku smoothly touched her brother's head. Say hello to the Crown Prince. He's helped us greatly. Manu then looked up at Munyun's words and looked toward Yowan. His eyes were out of focus, but one of the eyes looked at Chun Yowan. Hello. He greeted Yowan with an innocent look. After looking at this, Yowan understood why Munyun was tempted to side with Buchuryong. I see why he thinks the godly doctor is the only hope. Yowan looked at Manu with a sad look for a while and asked Nano, is there a way to heal Manu? It requires analyzation of the symptoms to check the possibility. I heard he became sick from suffocation during birth. Can you check? Checking through data. Nano's data contained a vast amount of medical information. Nano quickly went through multiple datasets and spoke. Found a total of 24,201,023 similar cases and studies similar to patients' symptoms. That much? It was obvious as Nano's data contained hundreds of years' worth of information stored within it. For better analysis, please place your hand over the patient's head. Yowan then saw augmented reality being engaged over his sight. White lights drew lines over Manu's head, asking him to place his hand over the head. Yowan then looked at Munyun and asked, Elder Mun, can I take a look at your grandson for a moment? Munyun became confused at the sudden request but nodded. He just figured Yowan wanted to take a closer look at Manu's state. Of course. Thank you. Yowan then placed both his hands over Manu's head, as directed with the augmented reality. What is it? Manu looked up to Yowan with a curious expression as Yowan grabbed his head. Scanning with magnetic resonance imaging technique on the target entity. A faint red light then began from the end of his finger tip down to his palm. Huh? What's with that light? Everyone became shocked by the weird phenomenon. It wasn't just a normal scan, but Nano machine was creating a magnetic field over the palm to receive cell signals back from skin and analyze it. Yoan then was shown the MRI image of what he just scanned. It showed brain and veins running through Manu's head. Yoan was surprised at the unending abilities that Nano had. As the image began to play, white light and red lines began to form. The red dotted areas show blockage in blood circulation. Based on the studies, suffocation during birth caused the brain to stop functioning, and destroyed the brain cells, which resulted in underdevelopment of mental health. Can you fix it? It requires the removing of dead cells at the points where blood cannot circulate, and after recirculating the blood, it will require an electrical energy shock to form new brain cells that will replace the old. It will require a bit of time, but it is possible. It meant that Nano could heal him. Will you proceed with electric shock therapy? Yeah. Please place your hand on the red dotted area. With Nano's voice, Yoan saw a red dot flashing over Manu's head. Yoan then placed his fingers on the point. Crown Prince? Manu became worried at Yoan's weird action. Many doctors came to visit Manu, but Manu never saw anyone touching Manu's head. Yoan then warned to Manu, this might hurt a little. Haha? Manu couldn't understand. That's when a light flashed from Yoan's finger and electrical energy shot through Manu's head. Kaya aga hiaha. Manu screamed weirdly and began to tremble. Soon, his eyes, nose and mouth bled, oozing with black blood. What? Everyone became shocked. See, Crown Prince. What is the meaning of this? Manu quickly got up and shouted. It seemed like his grandson was going to die even before meeting the godly doctor. Gaya akaka. Crown Prince. Yoan did not stop even when Manu shouted, so Manu ran over and tried to pull Yoan away. But Moha stopped him. Move out of the way. You must trust the Crown Prince. He's going to die. I can't just. You. That's when Yoan took off his finger and Manu fell to the ground. His nose and mouth that were bleeding black blood now had steam coming out from them. Move. Manu pushed Moha out of the way and took up Manu. He wasn't in a good state to begin with, but now he looked numb and without any energy. You. Manu grabbed Manu's arms and shook him madly. But Manu did not respond or react. Manu became furious that Yoan just messed up Manu to point where he could not be healed and got up and glared. Crown Prince. What did you just? Huh? That's when Manu grabbed Manu's hand. Hurts. My head, it hurts. Are you okay? Manu then looked back down to Manu. But Manu became shocked and couldn't close his mouth. What in the world? There wasn't a big change. But Manu's two eyes that always focused on two different things was now looking up to Manu like a normal person. Oh my god. Manu was also so shocked that she covered her mouth with her hands and was teary. This was a sign that Manu was healing.